Hi guys, this is Preeti Lata Singh, Assistant Professor, Department of English, Government Girls PG College, Rampur, presents a lecture about the father of English poetry, Geoffrey Chaucer, revealing his literary output and salient features of his age. Intellectual friends and students, before starting our lesson, let us have the objectives of today's class. We will analyze and interpret the introductory part of Chaucer's The Prologue to the Canterbury Tales. We will explore the main theme and images in the work, and we will also study the age of Chaucer through his Canterbury Tales in the context of 15th century English poetry. Well, Geoffrey Chaucer was the son of John Chaucer and Agnes. He was born in London and most likely in the early 1340s and died on October 25, 1400. He was an outstanding English poet before Shakespeare and the first finder of our language. His The Canterbury Tales rank as one of the greatest poetic works in English. He is considered the greatest English poet of the Middle Ages, and he was also the first poet buried in the Poets' Corner in the Westminster Abbey. Students, here is a notable information for you that Westminster Abbey is a remarkable graveyard where prominent and leading personalities of the age was buried. Over 3,300 people have been buried, including Isaac Newton, Henry V, Charles Dickens, and so on. Geoffrey Chaucer was hailed as the morning star of Renaissance. He was regarded as the father of English poetry and the grandfather of English novel. He was the first national poet of England. As we know, Chaucer is the father of English poetry. He is also the pioneer of pioneers. He was only Chaucer who made 14th century important. He acquired a great name as an author, philosopher, alchemist, and also astronomer. Among his many works like The House of Fame, The Legend of Good Women, The Parliament of Fowls, The Troilus and Preside, The Book of the Duchess, he is best known for his work Canterbury Tales. The main theme of the Canterbury Tales is a satire on social system of the contemporary society and courtly love, and especially the corruption of prevailing in church. We discuss it later, and now we discuss the age of Chaucer. Chaucer's age witnessed a great distress or unrest. It was an age of glaring social contrast and rapid political changes. The growth of national spirit is the most important feature of the age of Chaucer. It was one of the most turbulent periods in British history. It witnessed 100 years war with France, and this scenario fostered the feeling of nationalism and patriotism among the English. Students, the victories in the wars gave England self-confidence and nationalism, and it became a united and more powerful nation of the time. During the period of the war and political turmoil, a disease named Black Death affected England very badly. In the year 1348, about half of the population of England was swept away by 2 years long plague, and in middle and lower class and unrest began to breed because of the plague and also the wars. The price of labor rose and the price of bread fell sharply. While the people were starving and living a life of misery, the king and his courtiers were leading a life of gaiety and luxury. People lost their patience, and the peasant revolt burst like a volcano in the year 1381 and shake the very foundation of the society. Another main feature of the 14th century age is corruption in the church. Here we quote a remarkable quote about historian writes about the corruption in the church prevailing in the contemporary society. He writes about this that our priests are now become blind, dark and beclouded. There is neither shaven crown on their head, nor modesty in their words, nor temperance in their food, nor even chastity in their deeds. Thus, when Black Death came in 1348, it was hailed as God's long delayed punishment upon a society rotten to the core. That's why Chaucer was compelled to write down these lines that if gold rust, what shall the iron do? John Wycliffe and poets like Langland and Gower freely denounced the growing corruption in the church and through their teaching sought to revive the real Christianity. John Wycliffe challenged the authority of the Catholic Church and taught the power and property could only be rightly held by good men. He sent throughout the country disciples who were called Lollard or poor priests to spread his teachings. He encourages men to seek their religion in the Bible only, and for this purpose, John Wycliffe translated portion of the New Testament from Latin into English. The life in the villages were hard and monotonous. Town life too was dirty and full of squalor. Condition of women is not so good. They were thought inferior to men. Women of lower strata of society were hard worked and doomed to a life of unrelieved drudgery. Ladies of noble families displayed false delicacy and decorum. Courtly ladies showed false pity and sentimentality. To the man of church, the woman was the source of all evil. Child marriage was the order of the day. In contrast, trade and commerce and industry, this period saw the growth of merchant and middle class. Foreign trade also grew. Oxford University was founded about 1167 and had a chancellor in 1214, and the other notable and prominent university also established in this period, that is Cambridge University. It was recognized by the king in 1230 and by the church 1233. In the age of Chaucer, however, both universities became important seats of learning. They are the home of the Reformation and the Renaissance. Scholars were called clerks. Latin was the medium of the instruction. Philosophers, grammarians, and thinkers were called schoolmen. French was the language of the upper classes, but the common Englishman began to neglect it. English became the language, and in 1363 it was accepted as the language of the parliament. And 4 dialects of English were in the vogue, and East Midland dialect, in which Chaucer wrote and which later became standard English, the King's English. Democratic spirit was growing, religious authority was also being shaken. It is indeed an age of instant social, political, religious, and literary activity. It is the meeting ground of the medieval and the modern, the Renaissance and the Reformation, the old and the new, and the religious and the secular. The main literary forms in poetry developed in this period were allegory, ballad, metrical romances, and narrative and descriptive poetry. Above all, there was Chaucer, scholar, traveler, businessman, courtier, but fundamentally poet and artist who shared in everything of the life of his age, reflected it in literature as no other than Shakespeare has ever done. So students, this is the first part of my lecture about Chaucer and his age. His most prominent work, Canterbury Tales. In the second part, we will discuss about Canterbury Tales. I hope this session will help you a lot to understand Geoffrey Chaucer and his age. If you enjoy this lecture, please leave your comments and queries regarding this theme. Thank you.